I've had this channel for over 6 years. I made my first video about Asheville almost 5 years ago. And my team and I were fortunate to work with dozens of people who found me on this channel and who relocated to the Asheville area. And you would think that with the number of people we worked with all kinds of videos that I made about Asheville, what it's like to live in Asheville, there's nothing else that can be said. But the more I talk to people, the more new people I meet through this channel or just, in life, I realized there are some other things that you probably did not know about Asheville, North Carolina. Hi, this is elenakovrigin with ℂ𝕠𝕟𝕟𝕼 Realty, powered by eXp Realty here in Asheville, North Carolina. Welcome back to my channel about all things Asheville. If you need help relocating, my team and I will be honored to help. Our contact information is down in the description. And so this video is about 20 things, 20 facts, 20 observations that you probably did not know about Asheville, North Carolina. And if you did, put it in the comments. And if I missed something and you think it's an important thing, observation, fact, put it in the comments. In no particular order of importance, number one, our roads have mostly double yellow line in the middle. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what like my 3-year-old these days says? Our roads are so curvy, so up and down. You're not gonna see, unless you're on a highway, unless you're on a major road somewhere, coming from or to downtown, you're not gonna see a lot of dotted yellow lines in the middle of our roads. They're so curvy, there are a lot of blind spots, a lot of turns. It is going to be very dangerous to try to pass somebody in the middle of a country road or in the middle of most roads here in the Asheville area. So our roads do not have a lot of dotted yellow lines in the middle. Asheville's average elevation is about 2,200 above sea level. Now I'm talking about areas like downtown, where it's more or less flat, where it's all like the lowest level. But within minutes, miles, you can be easily at 3,000, 3,500 feet above sea level. You don't even have to go too far. In fact, I showed a couple of the houses just recently. I'm gonna put the links to them in the description, where they were at 2,500, 3,500 feet above sea level, and both of them are within 10-15 minutes to downtown Asheville. And this elevation is exactly what makes our area perfect in terms of weather, perfect climate conditions. We do not have muggy, stuffy summers, super humid, super hot. It's not, it never, well, I shouldn't say never. It rarely gets above 90 degrees in summer. And if you are in high elevations, you're gonna be even cooler. A lot of people don't even use their AC when they are at 35, 4,000 feet above sea level. So that's what we personally love about this area. Number 3, if you want the views, you need to be willing to do or put up with a couple of different things. One is steep roads, steep driveways, steep roads that take you up to the mountain, to the side of the mountain, where all these properties with amazing views are located. Views and steep roads almost always go hand in hand in this area. And the steeper the driveway sometimes, the better the view. So that's number 1. Number 2, some people say, well, we don't need to live on the side of the mountain or on top of the mountain. We do not need long range mountain views. We will be okay with a view of a valley or rolling hills. Unless you have acres on acres on acres and you don't have neighbors nearby, a lot of times, and of course you do not see that in MLS because those photos are taken strategically. A lot of times those houses that sit what seems like in this valley and have those views of rolling hills and pastures and meadows and all that, they also have views maybe of other houses, trailer parks, individual trailers, farms, junkyards, because again, in this area, our planning and zoning very loosey-goosey, so to speak, and you have a lot of open use lots, a lot of open use zoning or mixed use zoning where you can have $1 million house next to trailer park, and that's a couple of things that you need to keep in mind if you want the views. Number 4, we do not have Costco. Sorry, we do have Sam's Club, and we do not have Chase Bank. I know it might be a shocker for a lot of people. We do not have those things that you might be used to in your big city, in more, I don't want to say developed area, but in other areas, in other parts of this country. We also do not have a lot of opportunities and spots to do just shopping. You know, our Asheville Mall is a sad place, all good stores. And I'm talking about just basic stuff like Gap, J.Crew, Banana Republic, they all closed down. Old Navy, I think, is the only one. We do have outlets, but as you know, they are not the same. Number 5, when it snows and or when they're just calling for snow, for flurries, for less than 1/4 of an inch snow, dusting, freezing overnight, a lot of places will shut down. In fact, this morning, schools were on a 2-hour delay because some areas in high elevations, again, talking about high elevations, some communities, some neighborhoods, some people who live in higher elevations, they got snow, they got dusting, and schools, of course, take all the precautions because in the past there were accidents when school buses were in dangerous situations on those icy roads. So even if they're calling for snow, most likely the school will be delayed on a 2-hour delay or canceled. Definitely if it snows in downtown Asheville, which is the lowest point, which is, 2,200 feet above sea level, the lowest elevation, 99.9% chance the schools will be closed, stores will start getting closed, businesses will get closed. I remember when I was at AB Tech getting my degree and it started snowing, they let the whole campus out. We had to go home. So when it snows, and I'm not talking about, a foot, 2 feet of snow. If it's gonna start snowing, they're gonna let the school out and a lot of businesses will close for the day and maybe for the next day. Number 6, you cannot do without a car in the Asheville area. In fact, in the whole Western North Carolina. I'm gonna keep it real here as I always do. No fluff, no vanilla. If you're looking for an area where you can do without a car, Western North Carolina is not the area for you. We do not have a lot of walkable neighborhoods. That's one. Even if you live in a walkable neighborhood, in 2.5 walkable neighborhoods that we have, if you need to drive to, or if you need to get to a hospital, urgent care, tax department, post office, Asheville is not a very walkable place. And yes, on one hand, infrastructure is not there, although they are adding more bike lanes on super busy roads. It's just too dangerous. They are adding sidewalks, but it's just not enough. And again, I think our terrain is the reason for the lack of sidewalks, for the lack of walkability in this area. And honestly, I would not want to walk on most of these roads. Number 7, and this might not be important or relevant or even of any significance to probably most of you, but to some, Asheville has a pretty big Russian-speaking community. And note how I said Russian-speaking community, not Russian community. In fact, people like me and my husband, our family who are from Russia, from Siberia, we are a minority here. Most people in Asheville are from either Ukraine, Moldova, and other former USSR countries. We have 3, if I'm not mistaken, 3 grocery stores. We call them, my husband and I and our Russian friends call them Russian stores, but they're not actually called Russian stores. European foods, European market. We love going to one of them. We honestly, I've never been to the other two. Oh, it's been years. We love that one by West Asheville the best. It has the best selection and quality of everything that they have there. So we go there to get our supplies, our produce, our treats that we are so used to back home. And so we keep going. Unfortunately, and many people asked me before, there is no Russian or even for any former USSR country restaurants here in the Asheville area. Я не знаю почему, но у нас нет ни русского, ни узбекского, ни таджикского, ни кавказского, никаких ресторанов в Asheville нет. Number 8, we have a ton of properties that are on the private septic and private well, even in city limits. It is not uncommon to find properties in Asheville city limits that will not have access to Asheville city water and Asheville city sewer. And so, of course, buying a house, maintaining a house that is on a private septic, private well, will have additional cost to you as a homeowner, as a home buyer. And I actually covered those costs in one of my recent videos. I'm gonna put it up here and also in the description about how much it actually gonna cost to buy a house in the Asheville area. So keep that in mind. Number 9, we do not have a whole lot of single level homes. Some people, again, who reached out to me through this channel ask me about single level brick ranch style home that they prefer to buy, prefer to find. We don't have a lot of those. A lot of those houses that are available or might be available or you see around in town or in the county are older. They are from 60s, 70s, 80s, or maybe even older. And since we don't have a lot of flat land, there's a lot of changes in elevation, a lot of ups and downs. Most of the houses have to be 2-story, sometimes 3-story because of the basement being the 3rd level or lower level. So if you want one level, single level house, it might be hard to find something like that. Now, there's a little solution, little fix. There's a difference between single level home and one level living. So one level living is where you have your entrance, your kitchen, your living room, your primary bedroom, bathroom, laundry room, stuff like that, all on the main level where you do not have to go up or down to. And you might have 2-3 bedrooms upstairs or downstairs where you don't need to go to every day, right? Maybe it's for guests or for kids, but you yourself will be on that one level. And that's easier to find in this area where single level homes, where everything, all the bedrooms, all the bathrooms, everything, every square inch of heated living space is on one level, that's harder to find. So keep that in mind. Number 10, just like the views, if you want to get more snow in the wintertime, you need to be willing to live in a higher elevation here in the area. So I'm not talking about downtown Asheville or anywhere in, main areas. You need to be able and willing to go up a mountain and live at a higher elevation. Because again, I said it many times, we might not have anything, maybe a flurry or two, maybe, just like some dusting. People who live 15-20 minutes from us up on top of a mountain, I see them posted all the time on Instagram that they have snow coming down, the road is covered, it looks beautiful and more dangerous. So, in other words, if you want more snow or just snow in wintertime, if you miss snow, if you need something more drastic than what Asheville has to offer in terms of seasons, go up the mountain and live on the side of the mountain. And we have plenty of these communities. I just covered a few of them in a couple of my videos from last week or the week before. I'm gonna link them up in the description of this video and also up here. So that's just the deal with snow. Number 11, Asheville's economy relies heavily on tourism and hospitality. So if you come in here and you think that you're not going to see any tourists, you're going to be wrong, especially in downtown Asheville, especially in high tourist seasons like fall, springtime, mostly fall. I feel like fall is the worst, the best, I meant. Any time between, I want to say, April, March to December. It's a tourist season. So you see a lot of tourists, you'll see a lot of hotels in the area because our economy relies heavily on tourism and hospitality. Lots of restaurants, lots of small businesses that are thriving in downtown, anyway, in Asheville, River Art District, West Asheville, even those smaller towns like Marshall, Weaverville. A lot of those artists, galleries, they are open only because of tourists. And definitely a ton of breweries that we have. I mean, I don't know how many breweries a single local person can support. Maybe 10, maybe 20 if you are a fan of beer and you drink it every week, every other day. But it would be unrealistic for breweries to only get their support from locals. They get their support from tourism. Number 12, and I'm keeping it real again for you, Laidback Vibe translate into service providers and how they approach their jobs, their positions, their businesses. For example, a lot of servers, wait staff will not hurry up for anything, seems like it. And I'm not talking about all the places, but a lot of these local places have people work there who have a very laid back approach to doing their job. And it's fine if you have an hour or two to sit at a coffee shop and enjoy your life and read on a magazine or whatever. But when I am there, I need to be in and out. I need to keep going to my next job, to my next house, next client, whatever that might be. I do not have 10 minutes of my life to watch you prepare that coffee and chat with your coworker about weather and arts and the next festival that's happening in downtown Asheville. I know I sound like I'm ranting, but I'm just saying, if you expect like this service, Asheville may not be the area for you. Number 13, on a lighter side, we have the best tasting water. And I mean it. Anytime I go anywhere, if I'm driving, I actually bring my own water with me. I went to Charlotte a couple of weeks ago for a weekend, and I brought several jugs of our water with me. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I just cannot stand the taste of water anywhere else outside of Asheville. Our water is the best. And every time I come back home, it's such a joy to drink our water. I'm telling you, it's small things. And the longer you live here, the longer you stay here, you will notice them, you'll get used to them. And before you know, you will be disgusted at water in other areas, in other parts of this country. So our water is the best, and I stand by it. Number 14, and that is more of an observation, not opinion, or maybe opinion. Proximity to downtown is overrated. I think 99% of people who reach out to me through this channel or just clients who are moving here, they talk about how they want to be within 10, 15, 30 minutes at the most to downtown Asheville. And my question is why? What is it in downtown that you think is so important for you to be close to? And I mean, I get it, you want to go out, you want to go out to a restaurant or just, walk around once in a while. But day-to-day life is really not that affected by proximity to downtown. It's certainly not true for us and not true for our neighbors or most people who I know. We do not go to downtown that often. I mean, again, maybe to a restaurant. There are a couple of museums that we have memberships just for kids, so we will take kids there. Sometimes, maybe there's a festival, maybe I'm meeting a client there, but my line of work is I meet clients everywhere, so it doesn't matter. Scratch that. So proximity to downtown is overrated. I think what's more important is proximity to things like schools, if you have kids, or your job. That would be probably something that's more important, but for some reason, a lot of people think that downtown is a place to be. Number 15, Asheville Regional Airport is one of the fastest growing several years in a row now. And we love it. I know there's more people moving, more traffic, blah, blah, blah. That's just what's happening with the area that is expanding and is being so popular with people. And when TDA is advertising the crap out of it, it's a topic for a different video. But airport is expanding. It seems like they add in flights every quarter, and we love it. Hop on the airplane from Asheville and you are in Florida. There are, I want to say 3 or 4, maybe 5 destinations just to Florida. Denver, Austin, Texas, Phoenix is, I think, one of the latest that they added this past summer. All kinds of places you can fly from Asheville, and we love it. It's so convenient. It's been great for us. Number 16, along with our amazingly tasting water, we have amazing food and beverage scene in the Asheville area for the size of the town. Of course, there's no comparison to places like, I don't know, Chicago, New York, and all those big real cities. But for a comparable city to Asheville, we have so many great selections of great restaurants, places to go eat and drink. And I mean, we love our food, okay? Not my personal observation, because I've never been there, but somebody who moved to the Asheville area from a city that is about 5 times bigger than Asheville was surprised about the fact that we have 3 Whole Foods in Asheville, just in Asheville. I was like, yeah, well, we love our food. And that's not all. We also have Fresh Market, Publix, Trader Joe's, Ingles stores are on like every corner. Couple of local grocery stores that are even better. Restaurants, speaking about amazing restaurant food scene and beverage scene, we have restaurants that were nominated and got James Beard Awards. So that, in my opinion, says a lot about the quality of the food and food scene that we have in the Asheville area. And we love it. We're here for it. Number 17. It's a hodgepodge when it comes to zoning and planning in the Asheville area. On top of the fact that we don't have a grid, everything is like this. When you look at the map, there are no, street, avenue, everything is everywhere. All the neighborhoods, all the roads go around mountains and kind of mimic the terrain. They don't try to go across the terrain, right? But I digress. It is also a hodgepodge when it comes to zoning, meaning one of the best examples, I think, is ℊ𝕁 Forest. ℊ𝕁 Forest is one of the most expensive luxury upscale areas in Asheville. It's actually a town. They have their own police department and all that jazz. It is located right along Hendersonville Road on one side of it, and kind of has a big stretch. ℊ𝕁 Forest looks like it's in the woods. Right across the street from ℊ𝕁 Forest is one of the historically poorest neighborhoods, Shiloh. So, and that happens a lot everywhere. I've said it many times, sometimes you have to go and drive to a $1 million house and go by a trailer park or trailers or junkyard. Number 18, speaking of zoning and stuff like that, we have a lot of open use land in this area. Again, some of the people who reached out to me through this channel or just in general who wanted to buy something in the open use zoning area because they wanted to do whatever they want. They don't want restrictions. They don't want HOA. They don't want covenants and restrictions. When you have no restrictions, your neighbors will not have restrictions either. So it can be good and bad, okay? If you see the area that is nice, and by nice I mean, I don't know, like junkyards, there's nothing crazy going on, hog farm or something like that, then maybe you'll be fine. But you never know who might buy a lot right next to you and open, I don't know, like some crazy shop or business, or whatever they want, because open use is open use. You can do whatever the heck you want with it. So it's not always good. It can be bad. It can come back and bite you years later. We are getting close. Number 19. Asheville area is not only a beer city, it is also a wine country. Did you know that? There's a lot of wineries and vineyards in the Asheville area. Not in the Asheville itself, although Biltmore, that is located in Asheville, has its own vineyard, has its own winery, they sell their own wines. Not all of them are okay, but we actually used to be wine club members with Biltmore and have 3 or 4 wines delivered to us every quarter, something that, you know, they maybe just released, or a special occasion wine or stuff like that. For those who like their wines, and I'm not talking about California quality wines or French wines. I mean, of course, you know, they're not going to be as good, but for those who love wines, we have plenty of vineyards and wineries in the Asheville area as well. And I'm gonna put a few links down in the description where you can check them out for yourself and enjoy a glass of wine. Number 20, and that is something that is important to me because unfortunately we're down to 1 dog, but Asheville is a very dog-friendly town. Yay for dog lovers. A lot of restaurants, a lot of stores, a lot of businesses in downtown. If you walk by, you'll see water bowls for your dog there. A lot of restaurants are dog friendly. They have patios where you can just bring your dog inside, and some of them. Hotels, we have a number of hotels that are dog friendly. So in general, it is a very dog friendly town. And if you stayed here long enough, here's a bonus for you. Several movies and TV shows were filmed in the Asheville area. I'm talking about movies like Masterminds. They were actually filmed right in downtown Asheville. And I actually, now that I'm thinking, mentioned it in my old video about Asheville.
You know that the movie Masterminds were partially shot in Asheville. And this scene specifically was done at the entrance of our very BB&T building. What happened?
It didn't quite pan out that way until I met Miss Kelly Campbell.
Don't speak, even whisper.
I'm gonna link it up with you in the description. Right in downtown, Dirty Dancing were filmed in Lake Lure. The Last of Mohicans were also filmed in the Asheville area, and many others. I'm gonna put a link in the description for you to check out what other movies were filmed in Asheville. Richie Rich was actually filmed in Biltmore. Can you believe this? Actually, I say actually a lot. There's a number of movies that were shot in Biltmore, but only the last one, and I hear it was sponsored by our TDA. The latest Hallmark movie, Biltmore Christmas, I believe is the name of it, was filmed in Biltmore, and is the first movie that was filmed in Biltmore that actually has Biltmore name in its title. All right, that's it. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you disagree with anything that I mentioned, put it in the comments. I will see you next time. Subscribe to follow along, reach out if you have questions, or if you need help relocating to the Asheville area. I got a calendar link to schedule a private consultation with me one-on-one. You have our email, our phone number, our website. Reach out any way you want, and I will see you next time. Different things. Oops. But it's unrealistic. Ooh.